Quarterfinals of the Africa Cup of Nations rolls on Saturday, and it's Mali and Ivory Coast, the host nation, playing at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Mali, the Aigles, take on Ivory Coast, Les Elephants. Mali would be the underdogs in this game. They're priced at plus 250 odds. The draw, plus 200. Ivory Coast favorite at plus 130. Mali to advance, plus 125. Ivory Coast, minus 175. Over 2.5 goals, plus 187. Under 2.5 goals, minus 250. Both teams to score yes, plus 125. Both teams to score no. Favorite at minus 175 odds. Let's look at how these teams got here. Mali were first in Group E at 1-2-0. They didn't lose a game. They had very low-scoring games. They had 3 goals for, and they only allowed 1. They beat South Africa 2-0. They drew Tunisia 1-1 and drew Namibia 0-0. In the round of 16, they beat Burkina Faso 2-1. They took a 2-0 lead before Burkina Faso penalty was scored in the second half. They led in shots 14-8. The teams tied in shots on target 4-4. Mali led in possession 57%, while Burkina Faso had the edge in corners 2-1. For Ivory Coast, they advanced as the final third-place team to move on. They were 1-0-2 in Group A. They beat Guinea-Bissau 2-0, but things went down from there. They lost 1-0 to Nigeria, and they lost 4-0 to Equatorial Guinea. In the round of 16, they were very close to losing once again, but they did draw Senegal 1-1. They went on to win 5-4 in PK. Senegal got an early goal 4 minutes into the game. Ivory Coast needed almost the whole game to get on the board. They tied it late in the 86th minute and through a PK. Senegal led in shots 13-8. These teams tied 4-4 in shots on target. Ivory Coast led with 57% possession, while Senegal led in corners 6-3. Scoring props in this game. For Mali, Lassine Siniako leads with 3 goals. He is also tied with the most shots, 9, alongside Kamari Doumbia as well, with 6 and 3 shots on target for those players. Their only other goal was from Hamari Traore so far in this tournament. For Ivory Coast, they have 3 players who all have 1 goal each, so it's hard to target any one player there. But Seka Fofana leads in shots and shots on target with 12 and 4. Meanwhile, Jean-Philippe Crasso has 7 shots and 2 shots on target, so he's getting some chances as well. Now, historically, between these teams, it's been all Ivory Coast, with Ivory Coast winning 19 times. There's been 9 draws, as well as only 4 Mali wins. 3 of those Mali wins also came way back in 1983 or earlier. The last meeting between these teams came in 2019 AFCON. Ivory Coast won 1-0. The most recent win for Mali was back in 2016. Now, for Mali, they've been in excellent form going into this round of 16 game. They're undefeated in 11 games right now at 8-3-0. They've outscored their opponents 24-6 in that time. There was a 0-0 draw with Namibia, and that was the only time they failed to score in their past 11 games. They've kept 5 clean sheets as well in those 11 games. They've only failed to score 3 times across their last 19. Meanwhile, for Ivory Coast, they had a run of 7 games undefeated at 5-2-0. They lost 2, and now they've gone on to draw in PKs. They were outscored 6-1 in that time as well. There's been 2 or more goals, though, in 12 of their past 15 games, one way or another. When we look at the best bet for this game, very tough to call here. Mali's definitely been the team that's been more impressive and in this tournament so far. They've only allowed 2 goals as well so far through all their games. Ivory Coast does have the benefit of playing at home, but that hasn't really helped them so far, and they did only come through as the very final team to advance and needed a very late goal just to get to this point, and it was through a PK. Still, they did hold the tournament favorite Senegal to just 1 shot on target, so I'm going to call this pretty even, with Mali being a little bit more impressive, but Ivory Coast having that home field edge. Let's call this a draw for the best bet, and then from there, anybody I think can get the win after that. Let's go draw plus 200. What do you think? Can Mali pull the upset? Will the host nation keep moving on? Drop your best bets in the comments, and good luck with all of your AFCON picks this tournament.